It's time to talk with Jay Foss.
Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too, Jay Foss.
The magic happens when you have the right person in the right place at the right time.
If we're having fun, everyone else is going to have fun naturally.
Keep it local radio.
I'm obsessed with transformations on this show. And so I guess that in this case, you are that paradigm shift. You are the thing that transforms people. That's what people call me.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in.
But then the question is everyone tuned into the right frequency?
Are you tuned in?
Making our corner of the world a little brighter.
Did you make the right decision here? Like, are you, did you bite off more than you can chew?
In figuring out what makes people tick whenever we start something new.
Yeah.
There's always that question of,
raising your inner voice.
wait, was this too much? Did I start hiking a mountain that's a little too high for my level of
With
experience?
Jay Foss.
It's a quote by Thoreau. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Not just another talk show.
We cover all things that make us human.
It's time to be heard.
How can my values and how can these inner thoughts that I have help me be a more whole human being?
Online and on air.
We can't legislate being a good, decent human being. So what can we do? We can become more active in this community.
Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people. Welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice. I'm really excited to be with you here on this Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. See, we take this time to be together and delve into topics that are a little bit deeper than the average topic that you might come across. Really grateful that you're here. Welcome to any new listeners. Thanks for checking out the podcast. And for any longtime listeners, you know, of course, that you are welcome to participate. Feel free to comment on this episode or shoot me a voice memo at 617-843-5393. You can also email me a voice memo if you want to get on the show. You can send it to jay.foss@me.com. See, this program is really all about you and what makes you tick as a human being. How can we learn from each other? How can we grow and develop? Many times I referred to this program in general. This program is really a form of encouragement to you, right? Some feedback that I've gotten is that it's a very motivational show. And though it is motivational, it's not just motivational, because motivating things are fleeting and temporary, right? So I'm hoping that this show, instead of motivating you, is also giving you momentum. Jay, momentum for what? For whatever it is that is the goal in your life. See, I know that you are much smarter than I am, so you can piece together the puzzle pieces, whether we do deep dives with guests on the show, where we interact and learn together all about different elements and facets of individuals' lives, how it is that you can pertain and take that information and apply it to your own life. That's where I think the necessary secret sauce is in life, because it's not just in learning about other things. It's how you can apply it to your life, how you can connect dots that seemingly aren't there, but yet I know that you can. Because again, I'm doing that, and I know that you are smarter than I am, and I appreciate that you are able to connect those dots when doing deep dive conversations. Or perhaps it's shows like this that are more on the encouragement side for you to continue on the path that you're on and to continue living the life that you are living. Many times on the program, I've talked about how I'm a wedding DJ. And as a DJ, music is vitally important to me, right? And so in figuring out what it is that makes you tick, the analogy that I use is like finding your favorite songs. It's the songs that really relate to you, that make you come alive, that get your gears going, that inspire you to do more and live out a better existence. Because I think that's the whole point in life itself, is for us to learn lessons, to grow, to mature, to figure out what it is, not that we're doing here on life, because at the end of the day, I think we're all just hanging out and figuring out what's going on. And as soon as you think you have it nailed down, life tends to morph and change into other things. That's why I think that you need the momentum to be able to continue on with life itself. In knowing that you are, in fact, good enough to live out your life the way in which you need to, the way in which you want to, the way in which you are, I think speaks volumes, not only to you, but in being the receiver of that, it speaks volumes to me as well. So that's why it's not just motivation. It's not just encouragement. It's not just inspiration that I'm hoping to convey to you here, but really it's about a longer lasting side of things. Momentum is what I'm calling it. Because motivation can be a powerful initial spark. Usually it fades out. And I don't know about you, but whenever I hit challenges, whenever I hit roadblocks, it's like I need that extra oomph to get over the challenge or roadblock. Whatever it may be the death of a loved one. It could be hardship circumstances that you're facing or have faced in the past, or, goodness gracious, I hope not, but will face in the future, right? I mean, we don't know what curves life will throw at us, because we do know that change is a constant. So if you're enjoying life, and if you have enjoyed life, you're probably going to face some hardships in the future. If you've already faced the hardships, I hope that life gets easier and that you are able to embrace and learn from those lessons and be able to enjoy this existence better and more fully. Because we're all human beings, right? We're all people. And in being a human being, we get to be full of our humanity. So that's from our thoughts, from our brain center. That's to our emotions, to our heart center, to our physical bodies, and to our spirit as well. We're all multifaceted. And I think that whenever any of us focus on one area too much, we need to help balance that out. I'm a big fan of trying to balance out the different aspects of life. Really, I mean, trying to be a balanced person, for me, can be a challenge at times, because I know that I lean a certain way. When I'm around people too much, then I need more alone time. When I'm by myself too much and just getting me time, then I know that I, in fact, need more time with others. So it's finding that balance to make myself a more full human being, a more full creature. And at the end of the day, I think that that's what most of us want. I think that's what most beings in general want, regardless of whether they're human or animal, or, well, technically a human is an animal. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean, right? Regardless of who we are, I think most people just want to live their existence. So how do we do that? I am doing that through encouraging you and hopefully providing you not only motivation, but the momentum to carry on and continue on. And it might even mean stepping away from something that you love. I did that with this radio program for a while. I did it for, I think, about 2 years solid. And then I stepped away from it because the station that I was at got sold and things changed. And I was like, I don't know if I can continue doing this. I want to, But I don't know if I have the commitment and level to do that while looking for another job, while figuring out life, while doing all of that. However, I mean, as you know, I'm back with doing this again, and really honored to be here with you, being able to share this time together, being able to share this space in life together at the end of the day. And it is pretty much the end of the day on this Sunday evening. Yeah. So today's topic in today's episode, all about momentum. And how do you keep going? How is it that you, when faced with obstacles, when faced with roadblocks, how is it that you provide yourself and remind yourself of what it is? Ultimately, I'm getting at purpose here, right? How do you remind yourself of your purpose? Maybe you don't remind yourself, and outside forces come back and remind you of everything that's going on, of living your life. And maybe your purpose changes over time, right? I know that for me, having kids seemed to morph my purpose. It was, it's no longer about me. It's more external facing now. Which I think is a good thing, because you need to build yourself up first before you can help others. You need to focus on yourself. And that's kind of the journey of the first half of life, is figuring out who you are. And then once you have that relatively nailed down, it doesn't need to be perfect, right? If there's one thing that we're learning in life, is that perfection is a farce, first of all. I mean, it's not even a real thing that you can achieve or accomplish. Nor should we necessarily even want to. So in knowing that none of us will be perfect, how can we do the best that we can do? How can we live the fullest life that we can live? And I'm not done yet. And express that life outward, and ultimately, at the end of the day, help others, right? Be a blessing to other people. It's not just about us. Living a full life, I think, naturally lends itself towards experiencing life with others, because none of us are islands. Yeah, we're not alone. Sometimes it may feel like we're alone, but that's where you need to depend and rely upon your other energies and your other resources in experiencing this life, to know that, in fact, you may go through some hard shite, but ultimately, you're not alone. I mean, that's where part of the raising your inner voice comes from, is I don't even think, when we're deep down, I think we know that we're not alone. Even when it seems that way. Would love to have your feedback on this. Maybe you think that we are all individual islands, and there are moments, certainly, where we need alone time and to be alone. But usually when we experience that, I'll speak for myself. When I experience that, I actually feel stronger connections with others, because I'm able to take the time, take some deep breaths, realize that my perspective isn't everything. It may be my world, but it's not the world. And so I'm able to reconnect with others in a better way, in a better stance, which again goes back to living your life fully. Taking the music that you love. People don't typically gravitate towards music that they don't like. They just don't prefer it. So if you're not preferring a certain type of music, then gravitate, and naturally you will be attracted to music that speaks to you, regardless of the genre. Music in general is very subjective, and we all know that, right? And it's funny to me when people take objective reality and assume things about what seemingly seems like it's objective reality, but is really subjective. So things that we may take for granted, things that we may assume are a certain way, and they end up being just subjective. They end up being momentary, fleeting items in life that don't actually matter. And there can be subjective things that matter a lot to you, but don't matter a lot in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I think that that's acknowledging that is part of maturing. So how do we get more of that in our lives? Not more subjectivity in our lives, but rather more meaningful things in our lives. And they may be subjective, they may be objective. That doesn't really matter to me. That's another premise behind the inner voice, is that it's the things that make you come alive, that really get you going in life. And not things that are just passing and fleeting, but rather things that are sustainable to you. A few weeks ago, Count Bass D was talking about sustainability in his life, how he can keep making music for 30 years and still be in touch with the creative process and the creative act and the creative element. And he was saying that it's the sustainability. It's the fact that he is able to do it like he drinks coffee in the morning and not expecting money to come from that, but doing it for the sake of doing it and staying committed to that. That's how he is able to continue making music. And so I turn that over to you. What are the elements in your life that really it's easy to commit to? It means saying no to other things, but that's okay, because saying no to the things that don't matter helps you say yes to the things that do matter. What is it that sustains you, that gives you the momentum, not only to keep going, not just to build small actions every day, but that lead to the consistent behaviors that you're fine with committing to over time, which creates this force that propels you forward, even in the face of waning motivation. I mean, that's a part of what I'm getting at, is at the heart of why you're living the way that you're living and how you're doing that. I mean, we many times, I think we take for granted the fact that our lives are a certain way, and not analyzing might be the wrong word, but not analyzing why we're doing what we're doing and how we're even doing it, because your life, I assume, comes naturally to you. Whether it's the thoughts that you think, whether it's the actions that you take, you're doing it many, many times without necessarily thinking much about it. So analyzing yourself, looking within, figuring out your hurts, figuring out your joys, figuring out all of it, right? All of it at the end of the day. And that all contributes to making you who you are in the unique ways that you are you. And I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of you and knowing that you're in this world, that you're in this life with me. We're going to take a short break right now. We'll be back with more momentum after the break.
Stay with us as we continue raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hi folks, this is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. If you're replacing the windows in your home, please see the Anderson 400 series windows on display at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire. The Anderson 400 is attractive, durable, energy efficient, and reasonably priced. Remember, Anderson is the most trusted name in windows. See the Anderson 400 at any of our 3 locations. That's North Reading, Beverly, or Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
If you have any issues, topics, or voices that you think would be great to be heard on this show, please reach out, jay.foss@me.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, record a voice memo and email it to me, or tune in live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
How's your 401k? I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but we can prepare you for life's twists and turns. We'll make a plan to help your money last through your retirement years. Our team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. Let us help. Visit noblefinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Making our corner of the world a little brighter, online and on air. Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
And welcome back, party people. This is Raising Your Inner Voice, a program each and every week, I'll say, where we focus on you, my dear listener, my dear friend. We focus on you and myself, and I mean, ultimately, that's what comprises the entire world that we live in, is individuals who are all experiencing life together in this same moment in time. On this same planet. I guess some people leave the planet, so they're not on the planet. Are there astronauts up in space right now? I'm going to go with yes. Anywho, you know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at. We're all experiencing this life together. And I think that we're all interrelated, interconnected, and living our lives, overlapping our lives in ways that we may not even see, we may not understand, but yet it is happening. We are doing it. We're able to experience this life together. So why not make the most of it? Why not enjoy it as much as we can? Not that life is all about enjoyment, because, I mean, I don't need to tell you that there are hard atrocities that happen to individuals. And we try to touch on those on this show as well. Feel free to go back and check out some older episodes. If you're curious, you are welcome to check them out. Because, yeah, we've covered a lot on this show. Anything from heartbreak to losing loved ones, dealing with grief. I mean, even just losing pets can have a really profound impact for people. If that is how you define the loved ones in your life, yeah, losing pets can be really, really impactful. Losing other loved ones, losing friends, family members. We've covered a lot of topics on the show, and we have many more topics that we're going to touch again on. I'm trying to line up guests right now for various fields. I don't want to preview to you too much, because I've had guests cancel on me. So I'm not able to bring the conversation to fruition that I had planned. But also, I'm curious and open to avenues and topics that I don't necessarily even have planned yet. That's why I love it when conversations go in directions that I wasn't foreseeing that they would go in. Why, you might ask? Because it's more like an adventure. It's a little rabbit hole that we get to go down. And I view that as a good thing. It may not always be a topic that I'm necessarily eager to go down, but I think that it can turn into something that is beneficial and fruitful for myself and for you. So on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening, we're talking about how momentum is different than motivation. And though I do want you to be motivated, I do want you to be encouraged by this program, by Raising Your Inner Voice. Ultimately, I'm hoping that it provides you with some momentum to keep on the path that you're on. It's like hiking a mountain. There are points in a path where you need to deviate and kind of go and figure out, which way do I go in this path? And if you don't have a roadmap, it's hard to know. But that's also where the adventure and spontaneity of life come in, because we don't always know which way to go in life. So you need to make and use the best of the facilities that you have, that you're able to. And aren't most of us, I won't say all of us, aren't most of us doing that? Doing what, Jay? Figuring out life as we go. The way I've phrased it in past episodes is building the plane while flying it, building the rocket ship while flying it. And though that is a metaphorical phrasing, because no one wants to literally be building a rocket ship while flying it, you pretty much want your rocket ship made. I think that there is an element to that of life. When you get thrown a curveball that you didn't foresee, when you hit a fork in the road that you weren't planning on being there, maybe you have the map and the map doesn't it doesn't tell you about a fork in the road that's there. You need to make up your mind of which way is the way of the path that you're on, the one in which you're going. Maybe it's even going down the path a little bit, realizing it's not the right path, and then going back and hopping on the other path. I would call that learning from your lessons. Maybe it's even seeing other travelers coming back, having a little talk with them, and realizing that you can learn from other people about where it is that you're going. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's like going somewhere for the sake of going somewhere. I think life is kind of like a choose your own adventure, where you get the chance and opportunity. You get the opportunity to figure out how you want life to be, how you want to spend your time, how it is that you're living your life. And it's those small, consistent actions accumulating over time. It's the decisions that you're making. It's the paths that you're choosing that make up your life. And that's why I'm really grateful that you're here, is because you could be doing a bajillion other things right now. And maybe you are multitasking. That is the best, when you can multitask, have some deeper conversations while doing some chores, while living out life itself. Being both mindful of what you're doing, the actions that you're taking, however, being mindful, a full mind of this deeper conversation at the same time. Or maybe you need a chance and a space to fully envelop yourself in a conversation. Why am I explaining to you how you're living your life? That seems a little bit ridiculous to me. So I'm not going to go down that path anymore, because you understand, you get what I'm getting at. And I'm not just being facetious and metaphorical when I'm saying that most of my listeners are smarter than I am. I truly believe that if you surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, that you are the benefactor, and you will be inspired and encouraged to do greater things. when you see people who are living their lives fully intentful, and serious about having fun in life, that is where I get truly inspired to live my own life. I mean, I've had those people in my life and I'm grateful for them. And it's just a breath of fresh air. It's a relief to my soul, to that part of me that's deeper within, that allows me just comfort and encouragement that it's okay to be yourself. And that's what I'm passing on to you. That's what I'm giving you today, is that encouragement. And again, hopefully it's more than just motivation. It's about momentum, to keep going, to carry on, to do what you're doing. Because I think that what you're doing, the way in which you're living, is a good life, especially if you are adding meaning to yourself and adding meaning to others. Because at the end of the day, I think that that's what we all want. I think that we all want to contribute to others and to be leading a full lives ourselves. So what system do you follow? How is it that you keep the momentum going, swinging in your life from branch to branch as if you were a monkey? Full of these little silly phrases and metaphors. But yeah, how is it? What do you use a system? Are you able to commit to something that's greater than yourself? And how is that a blessing to other people, right? Because if it's greater than yourself, it's not just about yourself. So if it's not just about you, if it's not just about me, it's about us together. And that is the way in which you are able to affect others. I know for a lot of people in the nursing field, for a lot of people in education, I mean, that's where I think you're doing incredible work. Because you're able to balance those two things of filling your own cup while filling other people's cup. I wonder if societally we get to a point where we not only value that better, but also compensate better for these fields. I mean, I assume there's always going to be a celebrity status for our world. Just like there's always going to be a poor status in our world. And how is that different? In wanting balance between those, right? A rising tide lifts all boats, right? So it's about helping each other grow together. So I'm not necessarily advocating for communism or something like that. I mean, you know that this isn't something that societally we can force on other people outside. It's really, it's gravitating toward the inside, healing my own world, so that way then the world itself can be healed. So part of the responsibility is on us individually. And then the other part of the responsibility is on all of us together communally. And it's a both and situation. One affects the other and the other affects the one. It's hard, though, when there isn't balance in that. Because without the balance of both the internal world and external world, I think that when things are out of balance, they equally affect each other, but in a negative way. That's why momentum is so crucial in this. So that way you can endure. And the endurance of life, of a healthy life. Earlier, I referenced in the show about not being perfect and not striving towards perfection. But really, it's about health. How can we be the healthiest that we can be? And at times, this is coming from a person that technically I am not in the prime of my health anymore. Right? Because there are times when I focus on it and then times where I let it go. And in the moment, I'm more on the let it go side. But I think that that's a healthy balance too, is when you're not over consumed with good things. For anyone just tuning in, this is Raising Your Inner Voice. Just a reminder that on the show this evening, we're talking about momentum and how it's different from motivation and the need for momentum in how you're living your life. How is it that you can maintain healthy boundaries and healthy standards in balancing that, both on the internal and the external? It's a multifaceted realm. Life is multifaceted. But what is it that you do? Maybe it's every day, maybe it's every week, to look and be renewed within your own being, within your own life, with all that it is that you're doing. How do you, ultimately, what I'm asking is, how do you keep love going in life? Because I think love is a word that encapsulates, it really gets at what I'm doing here. Love is also a generic term, right? There are many people that say they love something that's trivial or fleeting or passing, and it's like, well, you don't really mean love there. But when I say love, in this context, I'm asking, how is it that you can live out and get more of the things that truly add meaning and value in your life? And what's the routine that you have figured out in getting more of that in your life? Because again, I think that we all have this innate sense of wanting and getting. You may not know that you're consciously doing it. That's the beautiful thing of life, and that's what I was saying about things that come natural and easy to you. Things that you don't need to think about. What's the routine that gets you there? In figuring out life together, I think a lot of it has to do with knowing yourself. And, I say and a lot, and not only knowing yourself, but having figured out the way that life works, I'm really fascinated by. And that's why I love sharing different perspectives on the show, is because we can learn from each other. I think that we're all interrelated and interconnected in ways that we don't even understand. I've said that before. You get it. To me, it's almost, it's mind-boggling that we might actually be interconnected. Because it doesn't seem to make sense to my mind. but it does seem to make sense to my heart and my soul. And that's where wanting the fullness of life for you, that's where wanting the absolute fullness of life for myself, it's really encouraging. But how do we get there? How do we find the routine? What is the routine? For me, the routine has a lot to do with this Sunday evening, this program itself, taking the time to be together and figuring out how it is that we do this. Because I think that some people, it comes very natural to them, right? It doesn't come naturally to everyone to figuring out life. Anyone who's quote unquote successful, I think figures it out earlier than other people. Here's a good question for you. Are you successful in what you're doing, in living your life? Are you successful? That could be anything. I mean, how do you define success? I was going to say it can be anything from child rearing to keeping friendships, maintaining friendships, to financially, to living out and having a job that you've always wanted. Maybe it's something as simple as obtaining something that you've been trying to obtain, doing something that you've been trying to do, going on a hike. If you consistently make that part of your routine, consistently make that part of your life, then it becomes your life. So are you successful in living your own life? Or do you think that my life needs a lot more work? Maybe I'm not there yet. Where? I don't know. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet. But I'll tell you this much. You are definitely where you are. And there was a point in time in which you couldn't even fathom that you would be where you are. But yet you're there. Congratulations. That's that momentum part I was talking about, right? I mean, we all have goals, we all have dreams, we all have ambitions. But it's the actions that we take that define who we are. So in taking action on things that are important to us, that means you're doing it. You're doing the thing. You're living the life. Now, when we get faced with things that we don't want in our lives, you're still living your life. You're still doing it despite the obstacle. Something that at work, one of my bosses has made a routine for us is vocalizing wins and obstacles that we're dealing with. So wins are anything in life that is a success for you, that you had set out as a goal and you're either overcoming it, you're meeting the expectation, or you're surpassing it. And celebrating those wins together, acknowledging them is the first step. Celebrating might be the next step. And then lifting your eyes up and focusing on the next item, perhaps would be the following step. And as you're lifting your eyes up, noticing what are obstacles in the way of your next goal. Because it's not just about moving on from one thing to the next, though it seems like time has an element of doing that, doesn't it? Time in and of itself has an element of just moving. I mean, people can't believe that it's summertime and then boom, it's wintertime again. And then boom, it's summertime again. I know I'm skipping the spring and the fall. Not everyone has 4 seasons, though we do, thankfully, here in Massachusetts. Yeah, so it's not just about moving from one thing to the next, but rather actually celebrating things in your life that are wins. Do you celebrate wins? I've found it very beneficial, vocalizing first and celebrating next. And they can be small things. It doesn't have to be huge, gigantic things. I probably, now that I think about it, I celebrate birthdays and celebrations like that, but I don't celebrate personal wins as much as I do at work. So I should probably put that into practice better myself. I'm going to give that a shot. I'll let you know how it goes. And you can't always foresee obstacles. Maybe the obstacle that you've met is an obstacle that's in the rearview mirror that you're trying to recover from. Maybe the obstacle is ahead of you still, and you can see it. How do you face and meet those obstacles? How do you keep the momentum going? If you're just tuning in, this is Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss. This evening, we're speaking all about momentum, how it's different from motivation and encouragement. Though those are necessary items, but those are usually more fleeting, right? They're more temporary. They're not quite made for endurance. And what this show is getting at is how to focus on the action, being consistent, creating a routine, celebrating the progress that you've made. And I think that acknowledging and voicing wins, and even acknowledging and voicing obstacles, is actually beneficial to overcoming those obstacles. It's beneficial in showing yourself progress. That's why I end the show each week with please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace with others. It's not just about progress for you individually and that's it. It's about progress for all of us and how it is that we can move forward as a people. You don't have to be the same national identity as me for me to help celebrate with you. Though it gets hard when one person's celebration is at the expense of another person, right? And that's where, external conflict, turmoil, war becomes a reality for people, is because it's their personal win is directly tied to another person's loss. But I don't think we need to view it that way. Understanding things that way isn't even always beneficial. But yet, I think that's where confusion can come into play. And miscommunication can even come into play. But can we be honest with ourselves in acknowledging that one person's win is good for them and another person's loss is sad for them? And can we celebrate with the people who are celebrating and also mourn with the people who are mourning? It certainly seems like a high challenge. But as a people, I think we have to be up for that. Some deep thoughts on raising your inner voice this evening. We'll be back right after this break because we have the momentum to keep going.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in as we continue raising your inner voice.
Are you worried about the stock market, your 401k, or rising costs? Hi, I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but our dedicated team of professionals can better prepare you so your money lasts as long as you do. Let us help. Visit NobleFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Hi folks, Paul from Gentilly Brewing. Have you been to our tap room in Beverly, Massachusetts yet? No? What? Oh, come on. All of our beer is gluten reduced and we make our own hard seltzer cocktails and shandies. And we are dog and family friendly. Always. Our tap room is more than just beer. Pack up the kids and the dogs and come to 59 Park Street and see it for yourself. Or leave them at home. You'll be back. For upcoming events, hours, and to see our current beer list, visit GentillyBrewing.com. That's GENTILE Brewing.com to plan your visit.
What does living a better life mean? And what's your process in figuring that out? If you want to join in the conversation live, tune in Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Gather your thoughts first. Record a voice memo and email it to jay.foss@me.com because I would love to have your voice in this conversation. If you think someone else might need a conversation like this one, then let them know to get involved.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber. Professional builders choose Andersen Windows because they are the #1 trusted and recommended window and door brand in the United States. Andersen Windows and patio doors offer beautiful natural wood interiors, low maintenance exteriors, and outstanding energy efficiency. See the complete line of Andersen Windows on display at Moynihan Lumber in Beverly, North Reading, and Plastown, New Hampshire, or visit us at MoynihanLumber.com.
Moynihan Lumber, we measure up.
Not just another talk show, it's time to be heard. Online and on air, raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
And welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice on this Sunday evening. Thank you for being here. Welcome to anyone who's new to the program. This evening, we've been speaking all about how momentum is different than motivation and different ways that you're able to access that momentum in your own life, in however it is that you're living, however it is that you're living out and experiencing your definition of life. Call it by your name if you want to, though I think that you are more than your name suggests that you are. You are a full human being. And yeah, figuring out and determining, maybe naming the momentum that you have in life is beneficial for you, and it's beneficial for me, for us, dare I say, for us to do together. Would love to have you join the conversation. The way to join the conversation, feel free to type in the comments on your favorite podcast platform, or give me a call, 617-843-5393. I asked you to call in because we're able to get more instantaneous feedback. Though you don't even need to be listening to the program live, you can send me a voice memo. You can email me a voice memo, jay.foss@me.com is where you can send a voice memo to. You can text it to the phone number 617-843-5393. So many options for you to stay engaged with this conversation and to bring your perspective to the conversation, because it's not just my perspective that matters on this show. It's really a collaborative effort. And that's why I love having guests on. That's why I love doing deep dives. That's why I love engagement. By engagement, I mean participation. What are your thoughts on creating momentum in your own life? How is it that when faced with obstacles, you can determine if you have a win or not? And are you voicing the wins? Are you celebrating the wins? Are you figuring out the obstacles that you're facing? Sometimes it means reaching out, not doing it alone, to create that balanced, healthy life that I think we're all craving. I am. You are. Come on. Craving the balance that makes for a fuller human existence. On this program, thinking about the need for others, I think I've referenced this before on episodes long ago, but how we're all dependent upon walking around with half of our lungs outside of ourselves. What do I mean by that? I mean, we're walking around with trees and shrubs that need to turn carbon dioxide into oxygen. I mean, we all learned this in elementary school. Photosynthesis, right? So half of the thing that requires us to breathe is actually outside of us. And without being able to breathe the oxygen that plants turn air into, we wouldn't be able to breathe. So ultimately, I view it like we're all walking around with half of our lungs outside of ourselves. We're dependent upon something that is external. However, we also do have lungs, right? So we're dependent upon something internal as well. Back to that both and concept. It's not one or the other. We don't just need trees or we don't just need our lungs. We need both. And that's why I emphasize and so much, is because it's mind-boggling to me that life has so many both ands in it. And I lost my train of thought on that. But yeah, so what are you doing to get and keep going with the momentum in your life? Would love to have you join the conversation. As we're wrapping up the show this evening, I would love to quiz you and get some thoughts on topics that we haven't discussed and haven't covered. If you want, feel free to go back, check out some old episodes. If you have time, if you don't have time, fear not. I do have a slew full of topics, one of which would be Reiki for pets. I think that Reiki for animals is a topic that I want to go down. Of course, getting more artists, both visual and musical artists on the show would be a very beneficial thing for all of us to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, what are some other rabbit holes that might interest you? Going into the nursing field, going into death and dying, I think are topics that are greatly always needed here in our life. And encouraging you in figuring out who is living their lives to the fullest. Getting people on this program who are in touch not just with their own life, but encouraging and finding support in maintaining momentum with other people. Those are some thoughts. Those are some ideas. My dear friend, my dear listener, my dear human being, I hope that you gained a lot from this episode regarding momentum, that you're questioning the things in your life that you need to question, that you're keeping track of and voicing the wins in your life, and also keeping your eye on the obstacles that you are yet to face, and figuring out how you can overcome those and make a successful life. Thanks for being here. Please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace with others.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please help spread the word about raising your inner voice. Join the conversation live. Email jay.foss@me.com to suggest ideas to explore. Also share this podcast with your friends. Let those who need conversations like this have a chance to check it out.
Then let them know to get involved.